Is it finally time to say goodbye to one of the most polarizing figures in recent Philadelphia sports history? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we aren't just talking about rumors, we are talking about the end of an era and the potential solution to a roster gridlock that has been keeping Dave Dombrowski up at night. We need to have a serious, honest conversation about Nick Castellanos. The offseason dust is settling, and the picture in South Philly is becoming clearer, but there is one massive, expensive puzzle piece that just doesn't seem to fit anymore. Let's set the stage properly because context is everything in this game. The Phillies front office had a clear mission this winter: retention. They knew they couldn't keep everyone, but they had to keep the soul of the team intact. We saw them hand a massive 5-year deal to Kyle Schwarber, locking in that leadoff power for the long haul. They secured JT Realmuto for another 3 years, ensuring the best catcher in baseball stays behind the plate at Citizens Bank Park. But sacrifices were made. We watched Ranger Suarez pack his bags for Boston and Harrison Bader head west to San Francisco. Those were tough losses, no doubt about it. But here is where the plot thickens. To fill the gaps, the Phillies brought in Adolis Garcia, a high-risk, high-reward move hoping for a bounce-back season, and bolstered the bullpen with Brad Keller. Suddenly, the outfield is crowded. You have the new acquisition in Garcia, you have the undeniable rise of top prospect Justin Crawford knocking on the door of majors, and you have the immovable object that is Kyle Schwarber at DH. So, where does that leave Nick Castellanos? It leaves him on an island. And right now, the water is rising fast. We are looking at a scenario where a veteran who prides himself on playing every day has no clear path to the lineup. To understand why this trade rumor is gaining so much traction, we have to look at the cold, hard reality of roster construction and the unforgiving nature of Father Time. This isn't 2022 anymore. The Phillies aren't just looking for warm bodies. They are looking for defensive efficiency and future-proofing the lineup. When you look at the history of aging sluggers with declining defensive metrics, the writing is usually on the wall long before the contract is officially traded. We saw it with Ryan Howard years ago, the painful, slow separation when the production no longer matches the payroll or the roster spot. The proposed solution coming from Bleacher Report's Tim Kelly is fascinating because it connects the Phillies with an unlikely partner, the Colorado Rockies. Now, before you roll your eyes at the idea of dealing with the Rockies, let's dig into the mechanics of why this actually makes sense historically and tactically. The Rockies are currently extremely left-handed heavy. They have Mickey Moniak penciled in at DH, Troy Johnston at first base, and Jake McCarthy in right field. They are desperate for a right-handed bat to balance that lineup. Castellanos has already signaled, perhaps out of desperation, perhaps out of being a good teammate, that he is willing to play first base if that gets him on the field. This flexibility is key. Historically, players who refuse to adapt in their mid-30s find themselves out of the league. By offering to play first, Castellanos opens a door. And let's be real about the venue, Coors Field. We have seen countless careers resurrected in the thin air of Denver. Think about Dante Bichette or Vinny Castilla back in the day, or more recently, how veteran hitters go there to pad their stats one last time. For a hitter like Castellanos, whose bat speed might be ticking down, but whose raw power remains, that massive outfield and high altitude is a paradise. It's the perfect environment to turn fly outs into doubles and warning track power into home runs. Now, let's analyze the impact of this move, because if this trade goes through, the ripple effects will be felt throughout the entire National League. If the Phillies pull the trigger on sending Castellanos to the Rockies, it's addition by subtraction for Philadelphia. It clears a significant amount of clutter from a roster and, crucially, opens a legitimate lane for Justin Crawford. We talk about blocking prospects all the time, but keeping Castellanos on the bench just to have a veteran presence is a luxury this team cannot afford if they want to stay athletic and dynamic. Crawford brings speed and defense that Castellanos simply cannot provide at this stage of his career. Financially, this is where it gets tricky. The Phillies might have to eat some money to make this happen or take back a bad contract in return, but the cap hit relief, even if partial, gives them flexibility at the trade deadline later in the year. But what if they don't make the move? Let's project that scenario. Imagine a frustrated Castellanos sitting on the bench in May, getting sporadic at-bats, struggling to find his rhythm. That is a recipe for clubhouse tension. We know Philadelphia fans. If he starts 0-4-15 because he's playing once a week, the boos will rain down, and the vibes that this team relies on could sour very quickly. On the flip side, for Colorado, this is a low-risk gamble. They aren't contending for a World Series this year. They need a veteran who can sell tickets and mash home runs. Castellanos gets his wish: consistent playing time. Every player wants to be in the lineup every day. In Philly, that is no longer guaranteed. In Colorado, he is a middle-of-the-order bat immediately. It's a classic change of scenery, trade that benefits the player's ego and the team's future. The fan base is likely split on this. Half of you love the edge and personality Nick brings. The other half is tired of the strikeouts and the defensive lapses. But from a pure baseball operation standpoint, moving him to a place where he can play first base and DH in a hitter-friendly park seems like the most logical conclusion to his time in red pinstripes. So, we arrive at the bottom line. The Philadelphia Phillies have evolved, and unfortunately Nick Castellanos may have been left behind by that evolution. This offseason was about securing the core of Schwarber and Real Muto, but it was also about getting younger and more athletic in the outfield with the addition of Garcia and the promotion of Crawford. The roster math simply doesn't add up anymore. Keeping a player of Castellanos' stature as a part-time bench piece is a disservice to him and a waste of resources for the club. The Rockies offer a lifeline. It's a chance for Nick to play every day, mash baseballs in the mountains, and extend his career at first base. For the Phillies, it's the final step in turning the page to a new chapter, one defined by speed, defense, and the next generation of stars. It's a bittersweet reality of professional sports, but successful franchises know when to let go. I want to hear from you right now in the comments. Is this the right move? Do you trade Nick Castellanos to the Rockies to clear space for Justin Crawford? Or do you keep him as a veteran insurance policy for one more run? And if he goes, how will you remember his time in Philly? Let's get a massive debate going down below. Don't forget to smash that like button if you appreciate this deep dive analysis, and subscribe so you never miss an update on the Phillies' off-season moves. I'll see you in the next video.